Good evening, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Air Chief Marshal AP Singh discloses that Indian Air Force destroyed 5 Pakistani fighter jets, apart from hitting targets like radars, air bases and air defences during Operation Sindoor. Amidst ongoing protest in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, India asserts Pakistan must be held accountable for horrific human rights violations. US Senate to vote on Democratic and Republican plans to end shutdown, neither plan likely to pass. Ahead of the Indian Air Force Day on October 8th, Air Chief Marshal Amarpreet Singh, during a press conference on Friday, lauded Operation Sindoor as highlight of the year, emphasizing its role in forcing Pakistan to seek a ceasefire within 4 days. He detailed how the Indian Air Force decisively countered Pakistani aggression following the Pahalgam terror attack, destroying fighter jets.
First thing that I must start with is Op Sindoor. So that was the highlight of this year gone by. In the aftermath of what happened in Pahalgam, we all know that we took a decision that we have to make them pay a price for whatever they have been doing, and to avenge that, killings of the innocents. Clear directive, clear mandate was given to the Indian Armed Forces, and Indian Air Force was the prime stakeholder in that, in terms of 2 major targets out of the 9 that were chosen towards terrorist camps.
On the losses suffered by Pakistan during Operation Sindoor, the Air Chief Marshal said operation dealt a heavy blow to Pakistan's air power. He revealed that Indian strikes targeted multiple airfields and key installations.
Our strikes, there have been radars at least 4 places, command and control centers at 2 places, runway, of course, damaged at 2 places. Then 3 of their hangars in 3 different stations have been damaged. And in that hangar, as well as on tarmac, we have signs of one C-130 class of aircraft, one AEW&C class of aircraft, and at least 4 to 5 fighter aircraft, most likely F-16, because that base happened to be F-16, which would have been under maintenance that time. Along with that, one SAM system, which has been destroyed. And so these are the strikes that, the destruction that has taken place on ground by our strikes.
India has strongly condemned human rights violations in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Addressing a weekly press briefing in New Delhi, MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said reports of protest and brutalities by Pakistani forces on civilians reflect Islamabad's oppressive approach and exploitation of the region's resources. He added that Pakistan must be held accountable for these violations.
We have seen reports on protests in several areas of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, including brutalities by Pakistani forces on innocent civilians. We believe that it is a natural consequence of Pakistan's oppressive approach and systemic plundering of resources from these territories, which remain under its forcible and illegal occupation. Pakistan must be held accountable for its horrific human rights violations.
On the situation in Bangladesh, MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said the interim government has failed to maintain law and order, often tries to shift the blame elsewhere. He urged Dhaka to introspect and launch serious investigations into extremist violence, arson, land grabs targeting the minority communities.
The interim government of Bangladesh, as you are aware, and we've spoken about it on several occasions, is unable to maintain law and order situation in the country and has this habit of routinely trying to shift the blame elsewhere. It would do well for them to introspect and conduct serious investigations into the action of local extremists committing violence, arson and land grab against the minority communities.
In other news, mass protests in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir continue unabated, with demonstrators condemning the state repression and demanding global intervention as the protest entered fifth consecutive day today. In the past 24 hours, Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir has witnessed significant unrest despite the commencement of negotiations between the Pakistan government and Jammu and Kashmir Awami Action Committee. In key developments, tensions escalated after reported civilian killings, leading to angry protesters in Sahensa burning police vans and bulldozers. Protests intensified in Sahensa, where demonstrators targeted state property, setting police vehicles and bulldozers ablaze in retaliation for recent civilian deaths. Protesters have established a blockade at the Arja Bridge, disrupting movement and signaling widespread discontent towards authorities. The town of Kotli observed a complete shutdown, with businesses and transport halted as a mark of protest against the state's actions. Major areas including Azad Patan and Palandari continue to witness ongoing demonstrations, with crowds voicing their demands and grievances despite the government's negotiation attempts. The overall situation remains tense, with civil unrest persisting and the populace expressing deep resentment against state authorities in multiple POJK regions. As soon as morning broke, protests intensified again in POJK. The visuals are from Jhelum Valley in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where thousands of people are marching from the Jhelum Valley towards the capital Muzaffarabad in protest against Pakistani government. Meanwhile, Pakistan Journalists Union observed Friday as a black day after the assault on journalists at the Islamabad National Press Club on Thursday. According to Pakistan media reports, lawyers community of POJK were staging a peaceful protest at the press club when the police attacked them. Police high-handed action at the National Press Club has sparked nationwide outrage and calls for protests. Journalists' unions declared Friday a black day, saying the assault was a direct attack on media freedom. At a UN Human Rights Council side event titled Enforced Disappearances in Pakistan, Amplifying Voices Demanding Justice, Global Action, experts branded Pakistan a rogue state for rampant extrajudicial killings, torture and abductions. Chongshi Ye Joseph, Executive Director of Center for Human Rights and Peace, decreed the abuses as war crimes, urging UN sanctions and interventions to uphold the UN Charter and Anti-Disappearance Convention.
With the coming into existence and coming into force of the Convention on the against all enforced disappearances, I think it is a very serious crime. Pakistan is becoming alarming. It's really becoming alarming. When we get the statistics, extrajudicial killings, torture, detention in unknown places, irrespective of who they are, and all this detention with the consent and the acquiescence of the state means that the state is becoming a rogue state.
Pashtun activist Fazlur Rahman Afridi revealed over 6,500 confirmed Pashtun cases, with 300 verified by the United Nations but ignored by Islamabad. Pashtun activists said more than 300 cases of enforced disappearances were verified and confirmed by the UN and communicated to Pakistan, but the government of Pakistan has not responded satisfactorily. Meanwhile, POJK Khyber Sindh Baloch activist exposed Pakistan's rampant enforced disappearances, urging UN compliance.
We submitted, through special procedures to working group on enforced disappearances, more than 300 cases, which were really, verified and confirmed by the United Nations, and then communicated to the government of Pakistan. These, missing persons are, treated really badly. They are tortured, and most of them are killed. and then these people are dumped into mass graves, by the Pakistani army. Government of Pakistan not responded in a satisfactory way, and the UN was not satisfied with the answers of Pakistan, and they are still, on the list of the United Nations Human Rights Council. They haven't dropped it, and they will continue to put pressure on Pakistan to respond.
Meanwhile, Jamil Maqsood, leader of United Kashmir People's National Party from Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, also denounced Pakistan as a rogue state, highlighting decades of oppression and human rights violations.
Pakistan is a rogue state. It has a history of oppressing people. Pakistan did not allow its own people, its federating units. For instance, the blatant human rights violations and refusing their fundamental human rights in Balochistan, in Sindh, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in other areas, as well as in Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistan-occupied part of Jammu and Kashmir. And now the people have realized that they are not ready to live with Pakistan. And the major aspiration and vision will of the people in all these regions are to reunite with the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir.
In other news, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said India is moving towards becoming global manufacturing hub. Addressing the Jan International Trade Organization Connect 2025 in Hyderabad, Minister Singh stressed that initiatives like Make in India have not only strengthened local businesses but also given Indian products global recognition.
डिफेंस सेक्टर में भी भारत सेल्फ रिलायंस की ओर तेजी से कदम आगे बढ़ा चुका है। विदेशों पर हमारी निर्भरता निरंतर कम होती जा रही है और इसी विजन को लेकर आज भारत एक सशक्त और वाइब्रेंट डिफेंस इंडस्ट्री खड़ा कर रहा है। हम अपनी सुरक्षा के लिए बहुत हद तक डिफेंस इंपोर्ट पर पहले निर्भर रहा करते थे, लेकिन आज हालत बदल रहे हैं। अब हर पुर्जे, हर हथियार, हर प्लेटफॉर्म पर गर्व से लिखा जा रहा है मेड इन इंडिया।
General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of the Army Staff, reviewed operational readiness in forward areas including Bikaner Military Station in West Indian state of Rajasthan on Friday. During the visit, Chief of Army Staff commended the troops for their dedication, steadfast commitment to duty and effective multi-agency coordination. He highlighted the importance of technology absorption at all levels to sustain high operational readiness. He further underscored the need for seamless synergy between armed forces, government agencies, industry, academia and society, adopting a whole-of-nation approach to defence preparedness in current times. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman highlighted India's role as a stabilizing force in the global economy while cautioning against risks of imbalances and volatility. In her inaugural address at the 4th edition of the Kautilya Economic Conclave 2025 in New Delhi on Friday, the Finance Minister said the outcomes of the conclave have not only helped us in policy making, but also in holding global conferences. The G20 of 2023 stands out as a classic example.
Honorable Prime Minister has actually set the two-track in motion, one being reaching by 2047 a position where you're able to say that you're a developed country, Vikasit Bharat. If that is one of the track, the other track is how do you reach that unless you are Atmanirbhar, unless you're self-reliant.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman stressed the need to sustain 8% GDP growth to achieve this target. She warned of unprecedented global volatility shaping the world as the global economy is trying to recover from uncertainties.
Global order are shifting beneath our feet. The world that emerged after the end of the Cold War, which led to the expansion of globalization, open markets, pursuit of multilateral cooperation, now appears to be a relic of the past. For 3 decades, a contested equilibrium allowed nations to pursue prosperity through integration and interdependence.
India has been honoured with the prestigious ISSA Award 2025 for outstanding social security achievements. Union Minister Mansukh Mandavia received the award in Malaysia. Dr. Mandavia said the award reflects Prime Minister Modi's vision of Antodaya, focusing on empowering the last person in the line. He highlighted India's rise in social security coverage from 19% in the year 2015 to over 64% in 2025, now covering over 940 million citizens. The minister also praised the eShram portal, which registered more than 300 million unorganized workers in 4 years. India secured the highest vote share in the ISSA General Assembly, with 30 seats, showcasing its leadership in social protection globally. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met with Special Advisor to the President of Brazil, Ambassador Celso Luis Nunes Amon, in New Delhi on October 3rd for the 6th India-Brazil Strategic Dialogue. Ambassador Amorim was accompanied by a delegation of senior Brazilian government officials and advisors. The dialogue was an opportunity to follow up on issues identified under 5 pillars of cooperation during state visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Brazil in July of 2025. NSA and Ambassador Amorim reviewed the ongoing progress in strategic partnership, including diverse areas such as defense, security, energy, rare earths, and critical minerals, alongside health and pharmaceuticals. The leaders also discussed cooperation in multilateral fora such as BRICS, IBSA, and forthcoming COP30 to be hosted by Brazil in November. Both sides agreed to carry forward the work to implement the vision laid down by Prime Minister Modi and President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva. Prime Minister Modi's monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat completes 11 years. The program continues to inspire, educate, empower millions. Watch the special report by DD India's Tripti Tripathi.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, नमस्कार।
Since its launch in October 2014, Mann Ki Baat has become a landmark platform for Prime Minister Narendra Modi to directly connect with the people of India.
बेंगलुरु से सिस्टर सुरेखा जी भी जुड़ी हुई।
I am really proud and honored, sir, to speak to Prime Minister of our country.
दिनेश जी नमस्कार।
सर जी प्रणाम।
Beginning on Vijay Dashami, the monthly broadcast has touched millions of lives. Every episode brings stories of inspiration from rural development and social reforms to unsung heroes shaping the nation. Over the years, the program, aired on All India Radio and Doordarshan, has gone beyond being just a broadcast. It recognizes collective efforts happening across society and gives them a national platform.
देश की बेटियां हर जगह अपना परचम लहरा रही है। दिलना और रूपा, आपसे मैं जानना चाहूंगा कि आपकी जो सागर परिक्रमा में आपका एक्सपीरियंस देश सुनना चाहता है।
मेमोरेबल मोमेंट में बोलना चाहती हूँ सर कि हमने भारत की झंडा पॉइंट नीमो पर लहराया सर।
What started as a simple radio program has transformed into a people's movement. Campaigns like Vocal for Local and Har Ghar Tiranga gained momentum after being featured on Mann Ki Baat. When the program completed its 100th episode in April 2023, Prime Minister Narendra Modi remarked that any issue raised here soon takes shape of a mass movement.
मेरे लिए मन की बात ये एक कार्यक्रम नहीं है, मेरे लिए एक आस्था, पूजा, व्रत है।
The show also reflects how India's cultural influence resonates globally.
आप दुनिया के किसी भी कोने में चले जाएं, वहां आपको भारतीय संस्कृति का प्रभाव देखने को जरूर मिलेगा। और ये प्रभाव केवल दुनिया के बड़े शहरों तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि इसे छोटे-छोटे शहरों में भी देखा जा सकता है। इटली के एक छोटे से शहर कैंप रोतोंडो में ऐसा ही देखने को मिला है। यहाँ महर्षि वाल्मीकि जी की प्रतिमा का अनावरण किया गया।
11 years on, Mann Ki Baat stands as a mirror to India's progress and diversity, uniting people through shared stories, fostering pride, and strengthening the spirit of collective purpose. Tripti Tripathi's report for DD India.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday hailed Prime Minister Modi's leadership, calling him a wise leader. Speaking at a plenary session of the Valdai Discussion Club in Sochi, President Putin mentioned that India and Russia both share a special relationship. He was quoted by Russia Today. People in India, he says, do not forget about India-Russia relations. He added that some 15 years ago, both the nations made an announcement about a privileged strategic partnership, and that is the best description. Russian President Putin said on Thursday that global economy would suffer without Russian oil. He was speaking at the Valdai Discussion Club, a Russian think tank and discussion forum at Sochi in southern Russia. The statement came as US President Donald Trump has urged other nations to stop buying Russian oil in order to reduce Moscow's ability to fund its war in Ukraine. Putin warned that prices would jump to over $100 a barrel if its supplies were cut off.
Whatever happens, I am convinced that the global sector will be working in a sustainable way because the global economy is growing. The demand in primary energy sources such as uranium for nuclear power stations, oil, gas, coal will be increasing, and that means global markets will in any case be consuming these energy resources.
Germany's Munich airport has reopened after overnight closure due to drone sightings. The incident is the latest in a string of similar aviation disruptions across Europe. Airports in Denmark, Norway and Poland have recently suspended flights over unidentified drones, while Romania and Estonia have pointed the finger at Russia, which has brushed off the allegations. Nearly 3,000 passengers were grounded as 17 departing flights were cancelled on Thursday night, while 15 arriving flights were diverted to other cities. German authorities have launched a search to identify the origin of the drones. The incident comes ahead of the final weekend of Germany's Oktoberfest, which draws hundreds and thousands of people every day to Munich. The US Senate will vote again on Friday on the dueling Democratic and Republican plans to end a government shutdown, now entering its third day. Though there is no sign that the plan will win the passage, lawmakers do not appear to have made any headway towards a deal that would allow them to resume government funding. Democrats and Republicans have spent the past several days blaming one another for their failure to keep the government funded beyond October 1st, the start of the fiscal year. Democrats say any funding package must also expand the pandemic-era healthcare subsidies due to expire at the end of December, while Republicans say the issue should be dealt with separately. US President Donald Trump, meanwhile, has frozen billions in dollars earmarked for Democratic-leaning states and threatened to fire more federal workers on top of the 300,000 he will have forced out by the end of the year. His budget chief, Russ Swart, has asked federal agencies to draw up plans to lay off those whose work is not aligned with the administration's priorities. A prolonged shutdown could disrupt air travel, food aid for millions of Americans, force federal courts to close. Federal workers would miss their first paycheck in mid-October if the standoff is not resolved by then. The longest shutdown lasted 35 days in 2018-19 during Trump's first term in office. President Trump has warned that federal workers could be fired and projects cut if government shutdown continues.
Well, there could be firings, and that's their fault, and it could also be other things. I mean, we could cut projects that they wanted, favorite projects, and they'd be permanently cut. So you could say, a lot of people are saying Trump wanted this, that I wanted this closing, and I didn't want it. But a lot of people are saying it because I'm allowed to cut things that should have never been approved in the first place, and I will probably do that.
In other news, Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense has reported detecting 6 People's Liberation Army aircraft, 7 People's Liberation Army Navy vessels operating around the island until 6 a.m. local time, heightening concerns over Beijing's aggressive posturing. One of the aircraft sorties crossed the median line into Taiwan's southwestern air defense identification zone, prompting swift monitoring and response from the Republic of China Armed Forces. This follows Thursday's detection of 11 PLA aircraft, 8 PLA vessels, and 2 official ships, underscoring a pattern of frequent incursions. In sports, New Delhi is hosting first ever World Para Athletics Championship at the JLN Stadium. Accessibility is the top priority, with SWAYAM, NGO and Sports Authority of India ensuring the venue is fully inclusive. From ramps and tactile pathways to accessible toilets and transport, every facility is designed for para-athletes' ease and comfort. DD India's Narayan Singh gets us more.
The inaugural World Para Athletic Championships is underway at the JLN Stadium in New Delhi. Accessibility is the key focus for athletes for this mega event. SWAYAM NGO, the accessibility partner, worked with the Sports Authority of India to make the stadium fully accessible. Ramps and accessible seating have been installed. Accessible toilets, elevators with support and proper signage ensure comfort for all. Wheelchair-friendly entry points and medical facilities are also in place.
Accessibility is something जिस पे बहुत काम हुआ है. There is a lot of work that has happened, and as you have seen that till now there has not been any complaint or any kind of incident or accident that has happened because of the accessibility, not just in the stadium but in the hotels, in the transportation. You take the toilets, convenience everywhere. So it has been very carefully planned and then worked out.
From last 20-25 days, our entire team has done an access audit here in Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, and we have given a brief report related to whatever the changes required for the para athletes. So it's really very thankful to know that all the changes has been done, and more than 25 plus accessible toilets has been built. And wherever you will go in the stadium, you'll see that lots of things, the ramps are there, handrails are there, you'll see the bars are kept here. So several things are here that in which you can see that most of the para athletes feel very good whenever they move here and there. So it's a totally accessible, the stadium is totally accessible.
Special low-floor buses, adapted shuttles, and vehicles with hydraulic lifts transport athletes safely between hotels, training venues, and the stadium. Barrier-free access has been ensured at every touch point. The government and NGOs like SWAYAM are leaving no stone unturned to make all sporting venues inclusive. India is committed to empowering para-athletes and promoting equal opportunities in sports. Narayan Singh's report, DD India, New Delhi.
And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.